Yeah, you already know. Accountability is greater than entertainment. For sure it is. Poindexter Lounge, I see you out there, player. I see you. Keep up the good work. Keep doing what you do.
You're watching Poindexter Lounge. You already know.
What's up, nerd family? Welcome once again to the Poindexter Lounge. My name is Enosh, aka Enosh Fett, and I'm glad that you guys are with me here in the Poindexter Lounge tonight. I wish I could say it was a good day. You know what I wanted to do today? Let me tell you something. Here's the ironic thing. You see what I'm wearing right now? I didn't put this on for the show. I literally just got home from work, from rehearsals tonight with my band and everything, and this is what I wore today. Fitting, ironic, maybe even that this kind of news had to hit today. But you know what? I'm glad that you're here with me. You know, it's always a good day to be in the lounge, and I'm glad that you're here with me. And if this is your first time to the lounge, welcome. And please hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell, because we've got a road ahead of us. We've got a lot to deal with. You know, we talk about a lot of things here on the show. We talk about TV shows, movies, games, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books, superheroes, toys, and so much more. And part of that sometimes is dealing with stupidity. Sometimes it's commentary. Sometimes it's having to, pull up our socks, put our shoes on, and go to work. And tonight is one of those nights. Because tonight I am not happy. Now, a lot of you are here probably because you already know our good friend Ray Fisher. And we'll go over his statement in a little while when I bring in my panel. But Ray Fisher tonight basically spilled the beans on what's going on, and that he has definitely been taken off of the Flash movie. And this is what I got to say. That, you know what? It's not just that Cyborg isn't going to be in the Flash. It's not just that necessarily Ray Fisher is not going to be in the Flash. You know what I have a problem with? The Flash. You know what I have a problem with? Warner Brothers. I literally had somebody just tweet me a few minutes ago and tell me, you're not a DC fan. You're a Snyder cultist. You're a Snyder fan. You're not a DC fan. To that I say, get out of here with that. You don't get to tell me what I'm a fan of. You don't get to tell me that my fandom doesn't matter, because, you know, just like I end every show and I say, don't let anybody tell you your fandom doesn't matter, and don't tell somebody else that their fandom doesn't matter. Treat everybody with respect. Came at me telling me how I'm not a Snyder fan. I'm a Snyder cultist. Came back with, I've watched your videos and you're just a Snyder cultist. Yes, for some reason in my mind, I imagine this person speaking like Vince McMahon. You're a Snyder cultist. So angry. These people, so angry, so upset at anybody who would defy their Lord and Savior Jeff Johns, but we're part of the cult. Oh, would defy Joss Whedon. Yep. Because right is right and wrong is wrong. And you know what I'm a fan of? Ironically, it comes from a little movie that we that we pan a lot on. But I'm a fan of truth, and I'm also a good fan of justice. And you know what? Truth and justice has not been served when it comes to Warner Brothers, when it comes to Walter Hamada, when it comes to Jeff Johns, John Berg, when it comes to Joss Whedon. Truth and justice is not being served, ladies and gentlemen. And when you tell me that you take somebody like Ray Fisher off of the Flash movie simply because, oh, well, we're not going to upset Walter Hamada. We're not going to let, Ray Fisher dictate, what we do around here. We're not going to let Ray Fisher's allegations and concerns and stuff be taken up. No, we're not going to do that, are we? The whole point is accountability is greater than entertainment, but not to you. Not to you, Walter Hamada. No, you'd rather get the entertainment out there for everybody to see, right? Because you guys are in such a rush. You got to get that Flash movie out. Boy, you got to get DC rolling again, don't you? And I've been right there with you. When you announced the Flash movie and you got the ball rolling again and you got Andy Muschietti going, man, and he's going to direct it. I like Andy Muschietti. I liked it a lot. You announced bringing Ben Affleck back. What more could appease us fans than bringing back Ben Affleck? I'm right there. You go back. Even bring us one of the best Batman actors who's ever been to reprise his role in Michael Keaton from 1989's Batman. You say, this is the Flash story we're giving. We're going to give you the multiverse. You're going to see all kinds of crazy things happen in this movie. And I said, yes, because I'm a fan of the Flash. I'm a fan of DC. But I'm not a fan of throwing all of that, all of the truth under the bus, all of the justice under the bus. All of people fighting for what's right, standing up for what's right. I'm not a fan of throwing all that away so I can just be entertained. No, I don't just want another DC movie. I want to be able to go enjoy a DC movie and not have in the back of my head that the people that made this movie should be hanging out at Mos Eisley Cantina with the other scum and villainy. Because that, ladies and gentlemen, it will be in my head if I see this Flash movie. But you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, there's enough people pretty pissed off right now. And I know because my phone is going off. I got thing after thing after thing after thing of people saying, I'm done. Don't care about watching this thing. You done took my expectations away. You done took my excitement away from this movie by screwing it up. DC, Warner Brothers, congratulations. Great job. Warner Brothers, as if you hadn't done that enough over the years, as if you hadn't screwed that up enough over the years, how many things have we as DC fans had to put up with because Warner Brothers can't get their act together? And so here you got a great combination of Michael Keaton, back the old school stuff that people like, with the new school stuff that people like. And you just couldn't do it, could you? No, you got to make sure that we knew where Warner Brothers stands. No, I have a problem being entertained when I know that it's just doing nothing but feeding somebody else's ego. That somebody couldn't let their ego go enough that they had to rewrite the movie, take the guy out who everybody's caring about right now. No, we got to take him out. Got to put him in his place and make sure everybody knows. So thanks, Warner Brothers. Thank you for once again proving that you really don't deserve the long list of wonderful characters that you have the rights to. I actually feel like there may be something to Warner Media, and at least as far as they were willing to go. AT&T coming in, bringing us the Snyder Cut, trying to give fans something to look forward to and be excited about. But this garbage, I would have rather it just not been known. It just, just say, look, Cyborg wasn't in the movie. Okay. I'd be fine with that. I don't have to have Cyborg in the movie, but you tell me that they changed it just because Walter Hamada. And I'm curious how they think that this is going to be something that just flies, right? Because at this point, you might as well cancel it. You might as well, as much as I hate to say that, because God knows I love The Flash. I came home, my son Landon, who's a huge fan of The Flash, middle name's Jor-El. I'm not a DC fan. No way. No. He turned 16 yesterday, so I will have you know that I've been a DC fan long before the Snyder Cut. But, even my son was upset because his favorite character has to be tainted. Because that's what Warner Brothers does. Warner Brothers doesn't care about you and me. Warner Brothers doesn't care about how we feel about these characters. Warner Brothers cares about rushing things into production. Let the script just go wherever. We don't care, right? It's just a comic book movie. Start, stop. What kind of list of movies did we get told we were going to get just a few years ago, right? Because, here's Man of Steel. Oh, yeah, let's get Zack Snyder to do these Batman v Superman. Oh, well, let's mess with this a little bit, cut a half hour out of the movie. Oh, it's not as well accepted. Oh, well, let's put that on the shoulders of Zack Snyder. Oh, there's a chance we can get rid of him with Justice League and bring in the director of the first two Avengers movies. Let's do that. Let's use his tragedy. Let's use his family's tragedy as an excuse to once again meddle with these properties. Oh, what? You mean push it back a little bit? No, so that the Snyder family can deal with their family issues so that they can heal a little bit and then come back. No. The executives have to get their year-end bonuses, ladies and gentlemen. That's what's important. Give me a break. Give me a break. Why is it every time I think or start to think that Warner Brothers maybe has gotten their act together, maybe they're going to deal with something, maybe they're going to get this thing together, and we're going to be proud to be DC fans when it comes to what we see on the screen and what is going on behind the scenes. They do something like today. And it's not just today, because this is when we found out. You see, that's the problem, is we don't know what goes on behind the scenes when it happens. But we're starting to discover as fans, there's a lot going on that we don't know about. And this, like I said, Cyborg doesn't have to be in the Flash movie. Doesn't have to be. It's not about that. It's about when people know to do right and they don't. That's what's got me ticked off tonight. That's what's got me upset tonight at Warner Brothers, at the executives, at Walter Hamada. I don't know what kind of person Walter Hamada is, in real life. But I know this kind of stuff, it's not good. Doesn't look good. So we got to talk about this. We got to talk about what's going on. Because I am not happy. And unfortunately, I feel like I cannot even watch this upcoming DC movie because of this mess. I don't know how you feel. I definitely want to hear how you guys feel. There's too many of you in the chat right now to go name by name, but I got a couple people here, and I figured we're going to talk about this, and we might have some others join us later. But for right now, let's jump right in. Brian, Master of None, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right.
And my long lost friend, I haven't seen him in a while, Mr. Zeverfett. How you doing, sir?
Hey, man.
Sorry, what's up, everybody?
I'm doing good, man.
How y'all doing today? I mean, not how y'all doing. I know how y'all are doing. So,
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, the president of DC Films, Warner Brothers Pictures, whatever, but the president of DC Films, Walter Hamada, is deplorable. I'm sorry, but hey, if that's the action that he's going to take, and it's spiteful.
Yeah,
it's a spiteful. Hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to remove you because you disallowed us from holding on to Jeff Johns. They're in the process of removing Jeff Johns from that's why they're not doing anything or moving forward with like the Green Lantern stuff, because they're untethering him from that, right?
Yeah.
But they're and Walter's doing it reluctantly.
Yep.
But Walter answers to Toby Emmerich, and then they all answer to the AT&T guy. What's his name? Jason something or other.
Yeah.
But yeah, but they're not willing to part ways and do the same thing with Walter, because they're just like, well, we don't see Walter's actions. I don't know that he needs to be removed from his position as a president. I did read Ray's comments and how he feels about his position. But I do think that their reprimandatory, action should be taken if you're going to try to, save the money versus do what's right. And that's what they're doing here. I know that Ray is going to say, Ezra Miller and Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton should not be, not tainted, but nothing negative on what they're doing, because they're going to go and they're doing a job. This is a performance. They're doing their performance or whatever. I did see the thumbnail that you made about boycotting the film. I think there has to be a better way of voicing our displeasure without crippling the Muschietti.
That's what people are calling for now. People, you know what I mean? Like,
people are very reactionary. Yeah, I mean,
I get that.
The first feeling you get is like, man, I want to make you pay. And how do I hit you? I hit you in your wallet. That's usually the first go-to that people, because again, which rightfully so, Warner Brothers, DC Films, hell, Disney, they're all about the money. They don't care about anything else.
No,
it's all about the casting couch. It's all about the behind the scenes, power and
the establishment of Hollywood.
Yeah.
Ryan, my problem is like, as much as I don't want to boycott this movie, because God knows I want to see Michael Keaton as Batman again. Sure. God knows that I want to see, Ben Affleck as Batman again. I want to see, Ezra Miller as Flash again. I want to see this multiverse
the coming back.
Like, that's what I said. Like, I'm a Flash fan, right? I'm a Flash fan. I want to see this thing, but the problem is that I'm sitting here thinking, how the heck do I go sit in this movie?
Yeah.
As much as I want to see it, as grandiose as it could be awesome. It could be the most amazing DC movie ever made. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to sit there and see Walter Hamada's face.
Yeah. You're going to know behind the scenes.
You're definitely not going to enjoy it as you would have. Right. Yeah. No, I get that. And there was the same thing like I was talking to Dawson yesterday about this before this, the announcement, of course, today. And I told him, I said, Walter Hamada is attached to the Flash, because he was like, no, he's not a producer. No, Walter has produced Aquaman, Birds of Prey, Suicide Squad coming out, Batman coming out. He's got vested interest in anything and everything that's coming out from DC, and the Flash is another one that he was included on. He's not going, and this right here, what happened today shows you. how far his reach goes and where them as a company. This is AT&T, this is Warner Brothers, and this is DC Films. They're coveting Walter Hamada bringing in the money versus doing what's right and saying, you know what, I'll maybe we take you off of a couple films that, maybe we remove your producing credit from The Flash, refund your money that you've invested and say, hey, this project, because Ray Fisher is going to be a part of it, unfortunately, you cannot be a part of this project moving forward, and maybe they go get, Ben Affleck is probably going to be a producer on this as well. Possibly Stone Quarry, which is Zack Snyder and Deborah Snyder. Maybe they'll be producers as well. But what they need to do is similar to what they did with Jeff Johns is untether Walter from some of these projects, the projects that this individual would be a part of. And like you said earlier in your broadcast, Enosh, the Flash movie probably doesn't need Cyborg, but to know that he was in it and that they wrote, and I'm sure that they wrote multiple drafts because there's been multiple writers. You've had the people that did, 21 Jump Street. You've had the people that did Solo, or I think that's the same people. You've had even Ezra Miller and the other guy come in and do their own rendition or whatever. And I'm sure that some of these drafts have had Cyborg and some of them have not. I'm sure that they wrote both. So they're not going back to the drawing board. They've had the plan for a while. They just let Ray know now. Yeah. So I'm sure that this has been something that they've been working toward for a while. And the best thing for us is to somehow have a response to that. Boycotting, we will have to wait. I mean, how can we boycott The Flash if it's not due until 2023?
Yeah.
So you've got the Batman
2022, isn't it?
I thought everything got pushed back a year.
Did it get pushed back a year?
Because Batman was supposed to come out this year, but now it's pushed back to next year. Suicide Squad is the only thing that I know of that's coming out this year. I can't think of any other film from DC, from Warner Brothers, that's coming out this year. So, I mean, would we boycott James Gunn's film and say, hey, look, Walter, we're not going to give you our money? I mean, there's still this year that he's set himself, and the Batman for next year, he set himself up to where he's not going to. I mean, Batman prints their own damn money. Batman is that's their cash cow. It used to be Superman. Batman has taken that mantle, and that's their flagship. That is what makes money. That prints money. So the Batman itself with Pattinson is gonna print money, and then the Flash. The Flash is going to print money again because you have Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck, two Batmen. We'll say two. We won't say Jeff or Dean because he hasn't been announced yet, but. Even those two Batman, that's going to print money. So how is that going to give a message saying, "Hey, Walter, what you did wasn't couth. What you did wasn't ethical." Mm-hmm. And the same thing, not just Walter, but Toby, and then also Jason as well. Hey, you're allowing this to happen within your company under your umbrella. And everybody. It's kind of like the Wizard of Oz. You're seeing behind the curtain.
Yeah,
and it's not good.
We just saw how the sausage got made,
Exactly. And again, Paul, this is not the point. This is not the point tonight. So let's fire everyone who Ray Fisher has a problem with. That's not the point. This is also not the point. I waited 8 years for this movie. I could care less if Ray Fisher is in it. This movie doesn't have to have Ray Fisher in it. This movie doesn't have to have Cyborg in it. It's not about all that. We had moved on past that, and we were fine with moving past that. I was fine with moving past that. But when you tell me that you allowed somebody's bias to come in and write Ray Fisher out of the movie, that's BS to me. That's absolute BS. And I'm sorry, but I have a problem sitting there watching some garbage like that. Hi, Andy here. At Point Lecture Lounge, would you like to debate the recent Ray Fisher update? I know this is making you very emotional. Hey, Andy here, because Andy has to be, hey, Andy here every time.
Well, because Popcorn Planet, nobody knows who that is.
So, yeah, exactly.
He has to say Andy. I mean, come on. Nobody knows.
There you go. Yeah, right.
Nobody knows. So, but I mean, I guess going off of what you were saying, yeah, you know, it's definitely horrible that they did that. I do believe that they had multiple scripts, you know, and they said, okay, well, this is the direction we're going in, and that's a common term in Hollywood. You know, we're going in this direction or whatever. But what I see here is that the reason why they're going in the direction is because, you know, Ray made the point. Going forward, I can't be associated with this guy, lieu of what he was doing, of him trying to protect Jeff Johns, who is being removed from a lot of things in DC as well. That's why he's working over at Image. They took him over to Image. What the hell is Mad Ghost doing? Mad Ghost ain't doing shit. So you know, he's being phased out. He's being, you know, untethered from any, you know, intellectual properties that he may have gotten from, you know, from the Green Lantern series, possibly the Stargirl series. Because I mean, you know, he's a good writer. He just can't handle.
I like Stargirl.
He just can't handle.
I watched Stargirl.
You know, the position that he had as being co-president. You know, he let it go to his head. He said, "Hey, you know, either you do this or your career's in jeopardy." And basically, Hamada is now picking up that same mantle that Jeff Johns was toting around, saying, "Hey, you know what? Well, because you said that you're not going to work with me, therefore, I'm going to release this statement to you and say, hey, we're not going forward with your character in this movie." And the only, and this isn't the last thing that Ray Fisher's going to do. He already has a job. He's on location. Right. So, I mean,
he's on location right now in Mississippi. Right. Look, for everybody, look, he may not work with Warner Brothers again. He may not work with Warner Brothers again, but all of you haters out there who are like, oh, he's never going to work again. He's going to kill us. He killed his career. Get over it. Honestly, it's not the truth. He's literally on location with one thing right now, and he's got more things lined up. So, you know.
Bully on you. Yeah. No, I kind of look at this from I'm a comic book movie fan, so I don't know as far as like lore goes in the comic books. I'm really not that well versed. Okay, so you know, with the X-Men movies that came out in the late '90s, early 2000, I think the first X-Men came out. You know, from then on, I mean, that the genre was rebirthed. You know, so like I don't know. I as far as like Marvel goes, I feel like they've had a steady track record, to say the least. I mean, they've had speed bumps along the way, but at least they've been consistent. Yeah. And the fact that all this has come to light, and I think they're going to have a hard time getting people to come back to them.
Heck
like,
yeah, they are.
It's well, and then like, as far as the argument against like not having general audiences get on board with your product, that's how a good portion of these movies make their money, is off of the general audience.
Sure. What they're banking on is, and this is what they're banking on right here for DC films, is they're banking on the general audiences you're talking about is not going to even know about Ray Fisher not being written out of the movie. You know, they're like, see, nobody cares. Nobody's gonna know. It's not like we're writing Ezra Miller out of the script. You know, we're just writing Ray Fisher out of the script. And as said, you know, Ray Fisher, or Cyborg rather, Victor Stone, is not an essential part of a Flash movie. He could be something that could definitely add to it. But they're banking on people not even knowing about it. You know, they're banking on people just kind of, oh, hey, a Flash movie's coming out. Oh, it has 2 Batman. Oh, it has Michael Keaton in it. Oh, take my money. And that's what they're banking on. Like, see, Ray, your character's not as important as you thought it was, or whatever. Just because of they're hoping that this is swept under the rug. The Flash is starting production in April, hopefully. As far as like timeline or whatever, and they're hoping that, hey, people are going to be entertained by the Batman movie, people are going to be entertained by the Suicide Squad movie, and forget about it, because people's attention span is very short these days.
Well, of course,
okay. Of course. Well, I guess yes and no, because I think the long form storytelling it's more and more prevalent these days. So, and I've been in the comment section most of the day today talking about like my thoughts on earned multiverses versus kind of haphazard slapdash multiverses, and I feel like that's kind of the way that DC's going. They didn't do enough to establish the main universe to branch off of that. You know what I mean? I think Marvel, on the other hand, they kind of have. I mean, they've had, over 10 years of movies and consistent stories.
They did. They were consistent, and they got to the end, and now they're running around chickens with their head chopped off because they're not doing the same thing. They're trying to recreate, lightning in a bottle, and I don't think they're going to be able to do it.
No, it's probably going to fall apart because, I mean, the thing is they have all these new properties, but how are you going to fit them all in with the existing continuity? So I can see the same situation popping up, but I think Marvel, hopefully they can. I have more faith in them to steer into that skid than I do with DC at the current moment.
Right, DC just can't get their act together. They can't get anything right, and they keep fumbling, and all the projects are not really that good. I mean, I just watched the new Batman, which I'll have a review on. The new Batman animated movie, with the Lady Shiva and Bronze Tiger and all that. I even forget what it's called. It's called something in the Dragon. Batman Enter the Dragon or some crap. I saw that, and that's not even that good. And the Man of Tomorrow wasn't that good either. Whereas, I was just telling my son Matt, the other day that DC used to be awesome with animated movies, and after the Apocalypse War, they've kind of like, they're not good anymore. Like Marvel never had a really good, animated series or anything like that. Like nothing that, it's not like Batman the animated series or Justice League, Unlimited or all that cool stuff that came out, and they were just like animation was getting better and better, and then they got to Apocalypse War, and they were like, well, let's reset, and they started with like Deathstroke, which was not good, and then they went to Man of Tomorrow, which was not very good, and then they did this Batman movie here in the 70s, and that wasn't very good, and it's like it's not as good as it used to be. So they're and the same thing with their cinematic universe. It's all over the place because they were interfering with Snyder's vision and saying, hey, let's add this here, let's add that there, and let's change this up. Let's completely remove Snyder now, and now that Snyder's back, what do we do? Oh, let's just say it's going into a cul-de-sac. And are you saying what the cul-de-sac leads into the Flash movie? How does the cul-de-sac is no? Okay,
we're still gonna have characters.
It still connects, and I don't understand. And the Aquaman movie that made $1 billion came from the Snyder Justice League movie. I'm okay. I just said something really stupid because I'm DC Films. So.
No, here's my thing. Again, I'm gonna say this again. I'm not saying go boycott the thing. You don't have to boycott it. I don't have to boycott it. It doesn't even have to be that. Okay? I'm saying people are calling for it to be boycotted now.
It's being extreme.
But see, I don't think so because it's pissing people off because what they're doing is they're shooting themselves in the foot once again. They're pissing off a large portion. All the people out there who don't want the Snyder Cut and everything, you can gripe all you want to, but the reality is there are a lot of people who support Ray Fisher. There are a lot of people who support Zack Snyder. And I want DC films to succeed. I'm a freaking DC fan. Yeah. And what I see this is Warner Brothers goes and pisses off a huge portion because you know what's going to happen is this movie is not going to do as well. It's not going to do $1 billion like they want it to do. And then they're going to go, well, you see there, people just didn't want that. They just didn't want to see these characters again. They just didn't want Ezra Miller's flashback. They just didn't really care about Ben Affleck.
We were right.
We were right. Let's go ahead and restart the whole thing and use this multiverse thing to do it finally, because that's what Walter Hamada wanted the whole time. That's what Jeff Johns wanted the whole time. That's what all these smart people wanted the whole time. And you guys just didn't know what you were talking about. And we decided to waste millions of dollars to prove our point, guys.
Yeah.
And Ray was always a Palpatine.
And here's the thing. That's the BS.
Walter pulled a Kathleen Kennedy.
That's the BS of this whole thing because they're going to ruin. Why make this movie? Why even bother? If this is what you're going to do and just piss everybody off, don't make the movie. Yeah. Let it go. Just go ahead and reboot your whole freaking thing so that everybody can just be happy with your bright and shining Superman and Flash and bright colors. And don't even make the freaking movie at this point because you're going to lose freaking money on it. That's the point. That's why I'm pissed off. You're making a movie that's automatically going to be behind the 8 ball, put DC in another position just so more fans can sit there and look at us DC fans and go, DC is stupid. Because that's what I want to hear for the next 5 years.
No, you're right. You're right. See,
like I said, this isn't just about Ray Fisher. This isn't just about Cyborg. This is about DC films in general and the position that Warner Brothers is putting us in as fans of this stuff because they're seriously going to make now a movie that will already be behind the 8 ball. Already. Yeah. And it ain't going to come out. And if they think that that's going to make $1 billion, then you guys don't deserve these characters because you're that stupid.
Yeah, I direct them to Solo. Okay, they were all saying the same damn thing after Last Jedi came out. Okay, so it was like, you know, I think some might say that it had an effect on Solo's box office.
It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you, like I said, like Warner Brothers is doing all this stuff just because they're pissed off that the Snyder Cut is coming. They are so pissed off that they got told by AT&T that they had to make this freaking movie and throw some more money at it. That like they're responding in a way that no company would respond in this way when they have a major release coming out that is literally probably going to be part of what saves their year this year. With the Snyder Cut, because even the haters are going to freaking watch this movie.
Yeah.
Even the people who absolutely hate it and want to come in and be like, hey guys, I'm in here. Yeah. You know what? Those guys are going to watch the Snyder Cut too.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, what they should have done, which should have been the move from the get or from the jump, is they should have said, hey, you know what? We're reinvesting in the Snyder universe, right? So every movie that's connected to the Snyderverse, we're gonna go balls deep. We're gonna go all in and see this thing through. And any director or any writer or whatever that's going to write for this, this continuity or whatever, do it and do it with gusto. And then maybe they have another universe come in and another team that comes in and does something else or whatever with these same characters. The Batman movie with Pattinson was never supposed to be, and this whole, multiverse or whatever was never a concept. That was never in the cards for them. What they wanted to do was rewrite but they couldn't do too much because they had Wonder Woman that made a lot of money for them and is beloved by fans. And they're like, we can't reboot everything and hold on to God.
Right.
So, and then out of nowhere, Jason Momoa comes in, makes him another $1 billion, and they're like, all right, now we've got Gal and Jason. And dag nabbit, they're from the Snyderverse. What the hell are we supposed to do? Well, let's just try to make them more bright and fuzzy or whatever,
and try not to mention the other movies.
And try not to mention the other movies. Try to rewrite history. Try to, make everything its own deal or whatever. And they were just shooting themselves in the foot over and over again. And meanwhile, the Marvel fans that haven't seen the new movies are and holding on to the decade of or the 10 films that came out that were great, and connected with each other and had synergy and all that. They're looking at Warner Brothers, looking at DC films, looking at at all this and saying, man, you guys have a sloppy mess over there. And good on Snyder for coming in and doing the Justice League. Good on Snyder for going and making an IMAX version of BVS. And hopefully good on Snyder for getting behind the Ayer cut and having all these other movies reconnect and fuse and fix this universe of Snyder's so that hopefully he can pursue and move on and do his finish his story arc. It all depends on the the reception of the films. But that is one, good avenue for Snyder and also for Ray Fisher, is that, maybe we will see him back as Cyborg in Zack Snyder's Justice League Part 2 or Part 3 or whatever. If those make a whole crap ton of money, then that AT&T is going to look at that and say, you know what, we made a great investment. Let's continue on. And hopefully Walter won't have any say in that. He won't have, his money won't be attached to these projects here. They will disallow him from putting his claws in this other franchise. So, what's up?
Hey guys,
What's
how you
happening?
doing?
What's going on?
Welcome.
Just Warner Brothers wanting to fail. That's
Pretty much. I
Yeah.
mean,
Seems to be a running theme.
DC must just be a tax write-off for them at this point.
It must be.
Well, it did have to get bought out by another company.
So here's an interesting thing. Hot Takes Tuesday asked me, so at Poindexter Lounge, can you go on the record and call Jeff Johns a racist? No, because I wasn't there.
right.
It's not my story. It's not my place to call him a racist. But I will definitely listen to anybody who has something that says, hey, I came forward and I needed to explain what was going on. And somebody like Walter Hamada didn't want it to be heard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Take
How
situations like
would
that
you,
seriously.
how would any of us know if he's a racist if people are protecting him and don't want the story to go up the chain of command?
Right.
What did he say? It was above my pay grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite grade.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. All right, shall we? Shall we take a look at exactly what was said, because I think that it's important. Because look, I wanted to come home tonight. I'm working on a song right now about the Snyder Cut. I'm excited about it. I'm like in full record mode, man. I'm like, I got things set up, and I was like, yay! And then this stuff happened. So this is what Ray Fisher posted tonight on Twitter. He says, I have received official confirmation that Warner Brothers Pictures has decided to remove me from the cast of The Flash. Mind you, again, Warner Brothers Pictures. Very important to note.
Yep.
I strongly disagree with their decision, but it is one that is unsurprising, despite the misconception. Is that on there good? Everybody see it?
Yeah, I can hear
you.
Okay, I just want to make sure that everybody can see it. I can blow it up a little bit, I think, but let me see here. That helps. Oops, I guess not. Okay. Well, there it is. It's as good as it's going to get.
There we go. Now
All
we're good.
All right. So, despite the misconception, Cyborg's involvement in The Flash was much larger than a cameo. And while I do mourn the lost opportunity to bring Victor Stone back to the screen, bringing awareness to the actions of Walter Hamada will prove to be a much more important contribution to our world. On December 30th, 2020, I made it clear that I cannot, with a clear conscience, participate in any production associated with the current president of DC Films, Walter Hamada. The reasoning behind that declaration was twofold. One, Walter's purposeful attempt to undermine the Justice League investigation in order to protect his friend and former co-president Jeff Johns. Walter's attempt to protect himself by contributing to the public dissemination of lies and misinformation about myself and the Justice League investigation in Warner Brothers Pictures' September 4th statement to The Wrap. Bear in mind, Walter Hamada interfering with the Justice League investigation is a completely separate issue than the investigation itself. And while Walter's behavior was not a point of focus for the investigation of the Justice League reshoots, his dangerous and enabling actions during the investigation process must be called to account. On July 7th, 2020, during a 57-minute-long phone call with Walter, I made multiple attempts to have him escalate my claim of misconduct under Joss Whedon, Jeff Johns, and John Berg through the proper channels. Rather than escalate the situation when initially asked, Walter disparaged Joss Whedon and John Berg in an attempt to cover for Jeff Johns. When I alerted Walter that Jeff was, in fact, a major contributor to the issues experienced, including blatant racism, Walter tried, but to no avail, to get me to reveal the names of witnesses and other specifics that could be used to forewarn John of the claims being brought against him. Walter even went so far as to sharply dismiss certain claims of mine as untrue because of his work experience and personal relationship with Jeff.
Yep.
Walter indicated that he was briefed on Joss Whedon's problematic behavior well in advance of my speaking out on July 1st, 2020. That briefing likely came from Jeff Johns, with whom Walter served as co-president of DC Films. Regardless of how he was made aware, Walter knew that there was legitimacy to my claims against Joss Whedon, yet he persisted in trying to minimize and dismiss the situation, claiming that it is a producer's job. This was interesting. Claiming that it is a producer's job to protect the director and that he was looking to move beyond anything to do with Zack Snyder's Justice League. It wasn't until I argued Walter down that he agreed to escalate my claims as asked, citing it as above his pay grade, knowing that he had overstepped and that I had no intention of backing down. Walter made matters worse by making a tastelessly self-aware joke about not wanting me to put him on Twitter about this. Well, here we are. Despite Walter's best efforts, the Justice League investigation was able to expose the racist, coercive, discriminatory, and retaliatory behavior of Jeff Johns during his tenure with Warner Media's affiliates. It has also led to the more immediate parting of ways between Warner Media and Joss Whedon. While it may be legally and financially safer to quietly phase Jeff Johns out or to let Joss Whedon exit of his own accord, I share neither of those responsibilities. My responsibilities are and have been, one, to try and protect those that were brave enough to lend their voice to the Justice League investigation. Two, to use what little power I possess to ensure that the workplace behavior exhibited during the Justice League reshoots and its investigation never happens again. And no one in any profession should have to argue with their employer for their claims of abuse, racism, and discrimination to be taken up the proper chain of command. And no one in any position of leadership should attempt to dissuade those wishing to report such claims from doing so. Walter's actions have transformed this narrative from an investigation of on-set misconduct in 2017 to the examination of the present-day cover-up culture of Hollywood. His contribution to Warner Brothers Pictures' September 4th statement to the Wrap was false, cowardly, and reckless. I maintain that Walter Hamada is unfit for a position of leadership, and I am willing at any point to submit to a polygraph test to support my claims against him. I don't know how many instances of workplace abuse Walter has attempted to cover in the past, but hopefully the Justice League investigation will be the last. And if the end of my time as Cyborg is the cost for helping to bring awareness and accountability to Walter Hamada's actions, I'll pay it gladly. Onward. Gratefully, Ray. Accountability is greater than entertainment. You reach a point in life where you simply must take a stand. Amy Till Mobley. Now, I will just say to this, anybody out there who does not like Ray Fisher and you think that somehow this is a victory for you, that you think that this somehow finally puts a nail in the coffin of Ray Fisher's career, of Ray Fisher's mouth opening against Warner Brothers and Walter Hamada and these others, you're sorely mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
You're completely wrong. You completely missed the point. And I question whether you have the ability to listen and to read something effectively. He is not done. He simply has stated here at the end, if this means that he's done as Cyborg.
Big word, if, right?
Yep. That if the end of my time as Cyborg is the cost for helping to bring awareness and accountability to Walter Hamada's actions, I'll pay it gladly. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the kind of heroism, that is the kind of strength of fortitude of character that we should want in Hollywood. That people are willing to sacrifice a position of power, a position of being able to be in these big budget movies, even for doing what they feel is right. Even if you don't agree with Ray, even if you don't agree with Ray, you don't agree with any of the things that he said, you don't believe it, whatever, you got to give it to the man that he stands behind what he has said. He is not cowered in a corner with his tail between his legs. He has not given up his own accountability. He has not given up his own sense of what is right for anything that he felt. He is not compromised. Yeah. Say what you will about the man, but you can't say that.
I mean, you wouldn't expect that at a McDonald's. I mean, why would you take that on a Hollywood set?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, what the hell is that?
now, Dawson, you're just joining us. I'm sure you saw me get red in the face.
Oh yes, that was rare form, but it was very fiery, and it said what basically a lot of people who are fans of Warner Brother content properties are thinking right now. Again, for the past, I mean, it's been even longer than the past 5 years. Like, you look at all the different movies that have come out and that have a history of studio meddling, that have a history of studio interference. Like, I mean, you had the whole Richard Donner situation with the Donner cut, even all the way back then. I mean, Warner Brothers, time and time again, has proven their inability and incompetence when it comes to handling their properties, comes to handling their directors and their actors, and handling their films.
Yeah. And even, Superman Lives.
Yeah, I mean, just Warner Brothers has shown time and time again they're just incapable of doing what they need to do and incapable of having a clean and organized house to work with, right? And that's the reason why Disney right now has the upper hand as far as financially successful as well as commercially successful, is because they have an organized studio. They know what they're doing. They have things planned out. Whereas Warner Brothers constantly is reactive, constantly refuses to own up to their mistakes, especially when it comes to the Snyder Cut.
Has no plan.
Right, no plan whatsoever. Like, people keep saying, especially before the Snyder Cut was announced, people kept saying, just let Warner Bros. Go on with their plan. They had no plan.
Nope.
Once they were even saying that they had a plan today with some interview. It looked like it was with Richard Donner, but there was some lady, I don't know who she's with, but she was saying, yeah, going forward, they've got this great plan or whatever. Like, dude, no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have anything in your wheelhouse that resembles a plan.
Nope.
You know,
I just don't believe it anymore.
Yeah.
How in the world? That's what I'm saying. How in the world can we trust this after knowing all that Warner Brothers has done? Yeah. Dawson, you just nailed it so well. Like, literally, this is their MO. This is literally what. This is literally what they've always done. This is what Warner Brothers has always done. Well, like, guys, whether or not you believe it or not doesn't even matter at this point.
Yeah. They have a consistent and long history of screwing themselves over with their content and their properties. It's not that hard to see, and it's not just DC. Like, a lot of their films, a lot of their directors, a lot of their actors get screwed over by Warner Brothers. They're just protected because they're Big Daddy Warner Brothers.
Well, I mean, even Deborah Snyder last year at the Fandom, she was saying that Warner Brothers is a director-driven studio. She was toting that same line, and I was like, no, it's not. You've got David Ayer, you've got Zack Snyder, you've got Patty Jenkins, all with their films tampered with. I'm not sure about James Wan. I know that James Wan is really really good friends with Hamada, but I know that those three directors, and that's recent. How in the world could Deborah say that? Why would Deborah say that? Like, we have to see it first before you can't just say it. You can't speak it into reality, and she has firsthand knowledge that they don't do that, and so I just, when she said that, I was like, that is not true. I can't believe she just
it's
said
not true. But the reason I believe she said that is because, again, they were giving her the chance and him the chance to put out their films. So, like, okay, maybe we can make this right. Maybe they can actually live up to that name. And I say what their motto has been.
But she was saying in the past tense. She wasn't saying going forward we're going to be. She was saying this is a director-driven studio, and it's not, and it wasn't. And that's why her husband had reshoots the very next, or not reshoots, additional photography the very next month.
I think what she's saying is, You say it's a director-driven studio, prove it.
She didn't say that.
I'm not saying that's not exactly what she said, but I'm saying she's probably insinuating that.
Well, you're inferring, but we don't know that if that inference is correct.
Well,
but
right,
you know,
we don't know the inference.
I'm saying what was reality, and you're kind of adding speculation to it.
Well, let me put something here.
I'm just saying. I just keep it grounded.
Tiffany says here, and I put a lot of stock in what this woman says. Because if you don't know, if you're new to the channel, that's my wife. She says here, you know, I agree with you, Double MJ. She says people try to discredit him, meaning Ray, because he is a better human being. And I like what Saggy Melons here has to say. She says fans need to stop being fans and be human beings for a second. Right? We need to stop all this. Well, but this is my favorite actor, or this is my favorite director. This isn't even about Snyder, folks. Like seriously, you know, like look, I'm writing this song, right? And I'm putting this song together, and I've been thinking a lot about the Snyder Cut movement and like what it means. It's not even about the freaking movie itself. Look, at the end of the day, I'm getting a 4-hour movie. You're getting a 4-hour movie. Whatever, if they cut it up into 4 parts, 5 parts, 1 part, I don't care. We're getting it. You can't stop it. I love how Amanda Martin puts it here. He's still getting his original Cyborg in Zack Snyder's Justice League. He won.
Yeah.
Right. So here's the thing. Yeah. We're getting the Snyder Cut. Now, there's going to be a big question in my mind whether or not I'm going to be able to enjoy some DC content going forward, because you start putting, you know, black marks on it by showing me what's going on behind the scenes, where you're telling me that people don't take allegations seriously, that people don't want to reveal things about directors or writers or like, you know, other people because they're friends with them. I don't care who your friends are. You know what? The worst people in the world are friends with somebody.
Yeah.
Right. And what happens every time somebody ends up like, you know, you'll see on the news, you know, that somebody like massacres somebody or something, you know, goes through some crazy thing. And then there's always somebody standing there going, they were so quiet. I never would have saw that coming.
Yeah.
You know, well, I love them, you know, and stuff. Somebody loves everybody. So regardless of how you feel about somebody, if they're your friend or this is my experience with them, you know what? People do some shady stuff when you don't look sometimes. Okay. When you're not looking, you're not watching, guess what, Walter Hamada? People might have been doing some crazy, shady stuff when you weren't around. So it's not your place, maybe, Walter Hamada, to lay a judgment call and just say, well, that's not true. I don't know, maybe take it up the chain of command like you're supposed to. Can you guys imagine all of you guys hating on this right now and saying, well, this is a bunch of BS and Ray Fisher, you know, he should just keep his mouth shut or whatever. Think about your job for just a second. Think about your job for a moment. All right. And something happens to you and to people that you work with, and you take that to your boss and you say, hey, here's some stuff that happened, right? I think you should look into it and do an investigation and see what you guys think about this.
Any other job, you'd have gotten fired if you'd have passed the buck.
Any other job, Brian, I wish I could give you a star.
One gold star.
You got the gold star.
I've been in management most of my life. If you don't take problems up the chain of command, you will get fired. Trust me.
I wish to God that I could just give you a gold star. I'll give you I stand with Ray Fisher.
There you go. I will take it.
Actually, you know what? I'll give you this because it is 2 cents. It's your 2 cents on nonsense, because that's exactly it. That is absolute nonsense. Any other workplace environment, if you went to your boss and you said, this, and this happens. It doesn't matter if you're the biggest liar on the planet. It doesn't matter if everybody who works at your place of business says, I don't believe them. I don't think that would have happened. If you don't take it seriously and you don't take it up the chain of command, guess what? You are breaking the law.
It's
You
on that big old placard on the wall.
I just don't understand what people don't get about this. Yeah. Regardless of if you believe it or not, or if you love Jeff Johns and you love Joss Whedon, I don't care. Exactly. Yeah. You are keeping the natural flow of justice from happening. Ironically, with a property that has justice in the freaking name.
That's true.
Truth.
Okay?
There was no justice on Justice League.
You're literally making a movie about a group of people who come together to right wrongs and do the right freaking thing. And you can't even do the right freaking thing. You can't take a minute and say, you know what? Or you could say, this is above my pay grade.
And yet, these are the same people who told Zack Snyder, oh, you don't know how to handle these characters who do the right thing. Let's do the wrong thing and then make it do the right thing.
It's as simple, ladies and gentlemen, as making a phone call. It's as simple as assembling a group of people and saying, hey, my name's Walter Hamada. I'm the president of DC Films. These were some allegations that were brought to my attention. Will you please look into them? Let's have a third-party investigation into it and find out what happened.
Yeah, done.
The only reason you don't do that is if you're worried about protecting somebody, because if it really happened, those people are going to get in trouble. Because if it didn't happen and the investigation happens, guess what? Nothing to worry about.
Exactly.
But you did your job. You're the president of DC Films. It's not above your pay grade. That's what you're there to freaking do. You're a boss. That's what he is saying. That's what Ray Fisher is saying here. He is not fit to be a leader if Walter Hamada can't do a simple thing like lead, not just be like, oh, I'm here, guys, to lead these projects.
Yeah.
I'm here to make sure that y'all get to see, a couple of Batman.
Ooh.
I'm here to make sure that we get that multiverse going, because that's what I'm doing as president of DC Films.
That's not in my job description.
How about doing the day-to-day work, the stuff that maybe is not so flashy, the stuff that doesn't get your name in Forbes or your name in the New York Times, right, as being so cool because you're putting together a multiverse, okay? No, it wasn't your idea to put a multiverse has been there for how many decades now, okay? Don't act like you created it. You didn't create it.
They fell into
been
it.
There.
They didn't create anything.
Exactly.
This was an accident. The
multiverse
in Marvel was on purpose. The multiverse in DC was an accident. It was a haphazard.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's just like, what do we do?
It was the result of incompetence, where they're like, well, crap, we're kind of caught in a bad spot. Let's do multiverse. Explain it all away. Kind of like you were saying, Anthony.
How's that, Walter?
Yeah. Like you were saying, Ryan, like they said, oh, crap, we have these two characters like Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa. Like, we have to keep using them. So, multiverse.
Yeah, like I said, it kind of comes across as hella lazy. It's like, oh, man, really? Like, okay.
They're banking on, they were banking on Ray Fisher not being as well known as, like Gal. She when things happened to her, she went straight and she got it handled right on the spot. Because she's I guess has a little bit more draw, because she had her own movie. Ray didn't have his own movie yet. He still doesn't have his own Cyborg film. And they were like, well, really, who is this guy? Come on now, just sit over there. We don't need to invest. Yeah. We don't need to investigate this. Yeah. See you later.
Yeah.
And they just kind of shunned him because in their minds, they're like, who is this guy? He's just some actor. Come on now.
Yeah, he's never been in any other movies. Come on. This is a Zack Snyder guy. He's never even like Zack.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? Let me point out another thing. Ray Fisher will have a job as long as Zack Snyder's directing films.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't think that he won't. But Madam Martin, I do want to thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I definitely appreciate it. It's been a while. It's been a while since I gave Madam Martin. It's been months, man. We just do the gospel thing, man. Madam Martin, yeah, heck yeah. So Warner Brothers also has a lot of fingers in pies. Too many chefs in the kitchen. It's hard to have a vision when you have 12 people dictating the vision. Hashtag fix WB apps. See, this is the thing. This is what needs to happen. WB needs to be fixed. Warner Brothers needs to be fixed. The DCEU doesn't need to be rebooted. WB needs to be rebooted. Look, I got t-shirt ideas, and that's literally one of my t-shirt ideas right here. and that's been that way because they need to be freaking rebooted. The studio, they make great films. Look, I love HBO Max. I got HBO Max. I'll be honest with you guys. I held off getting HBO Max. I had DC Universe, right? And I thought, man, I don't need that. There's so many things that are on there that I already have physical media for. I don't need all that stuff. And then I got HBO Max, and I was like, wow, there is so much content on here that I haven't watched, that I need to watch, that I want to watch, the stuff that I've watched before and now want to go back. My God, I'm watching every season of Robot Chicken right now because I love it. I've been watching Reno 911, man. It's because YouTube has been sucking lately and not giving me like good suggestions. So I'm like, screw it. I'm going to watch some Robot Chicken, man. I'm going to go through every season of it. It's awesome, right? So I'm fine with that, but it's like when it comes to these characters, when it comes to this stuff, like why is it that they can give us, Dawson, something like Raised by Wolves, for example?
Yeah.
Right? Give us a great story that we can get into, that we could jump
Raised
into.
by Cyborg.
I'm just saying.
I think that's HBO. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not sullied by Warner Brothers, maybe.
I know. I know, but you know what I mean? Like that's the thing, man. It's like I just don't understand why, like I said, guys, if this was your job, that this happened at your place of business, or if you were the boss that literally just refused to take it up the ladder, to make a joke about it and say, well, that's above my pay grade. That's the lamest joke you could possibly make about this whole thing. Like, don't call me out on Twitter about this.
He was just dismissive. He was just like, get out of my office. I'm not even going to entertain that. Come on now. This is Jeff Johns we're talking about. He's making me money. And that's why they brought Walter over from New Line Cinema, is because he knows how to, compartmentalize and save money on projects and things like that. That's why they only gave 90 million for the Joker film, and that thing made $1 billion. So, I mean, in their eyes, Walter has done them well. $1 billion Joker, $1 billion Aquaman. Wonder Woman came out.
Did you see though, Ryan? He even admitted that he didn't understand the Joker thing at all, and didn't even want to do it. He was
they even said there was somebody in the panel in the boardroom or whatever. There was like, you do realize that we sell Joker pajamas for kids, and they were like, yeah, but I'm not making that kind of Joker movie. It's just. They're disconnected. They're suits. They don't know what it is. They're trying to run a business. But again, same thing like Brian said, and same thing like Enoch said, is that if you're going to obstruct justice from occurring, then you do need to lose your position. You do need to. That's not the right. Even Ray said it. It's not the right position for him. He needs to go and do something else with his life. And this is exactly what Ray was saying in his letter as well, was that Walter doing this, he shouldn't have done this, but by Walter doing this, it sort of shows you a little bit more of the goings on behind Hollywood, how everybody protects each other. And they get away with so much. I am absolutely certain that Disney has done this. Executives at Disney.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm certain that Paramount, that Universal, that every single, because that's just sort of business as usual, right? It's business as usual. And if it's business as usual, Warner Brothers is the only ones that actually got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, and they're like, well, why am I having to? Yeah, exactly. Why am I having? Yeah, I love that. Why are we having to pay the price when we know that everybody else does it? Well, it doesn't matter what everybody else is doing. You have to be responsible and accountable for your own actions, and step up. And instead of trying to shun things, just say, hey, you know what? We made a mistake. We're going to pay for the mistake. We're moving forward. In this situation here, they're trying to
actually admitted at the beginning. Here's the thing. It's the same with anything, right? If you just admit at first your fault, instead of prolonging the inevitable and continuing to spin the narrative, it turns out better for you in the end. If Warner Brothers and people inside Warner Brothers would just admit it at first, like, yes, we made a mistake when it came to Justice League. We did the wrong thing. If they had just done that at first, we wouldn't be in this mess, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
There would have been.
Well, Joss Whedon would still be in the mess because he acted like an ass.
That's
right.
And that was
Yeah.
from the whole time, from the
I'm
get-go.
saying
He
the
did not want to be
studio,
there.
the studio would not be in this big of a mess because all that stuff would have been handled earlier.
Sure,
Right,
yeah,
all the way
no.
done.
Exactly. The same way that Gal's objections got, handled, they should, Ray's objections should have also gotten handled in a timely manner as well. I mean, and everybody else, it should have been just taken care of. Josh should have been removed from the project. But the thing is before Walter Hamada, it was the other guy. What was his name? What was his name? He was trying to make the bonuses. He was trying to get the project done. I forget his name. It escapes me. Help me out in the chat. But the person, the overseer before Hamada came in and took his place. He was, exactly. But yeah, I mean, they were trying to get finished. He didn't care. He wanted the end of the year bonus because Justice League was coming out in November, hell or high water.
Well, and you notice this, it just keeps getting the buck just keeps getting passed down the line, and nobody actually makes the correction.
Kevin Sugiura.
Yes,
that's his name.
That's the problem. Nobody actually makes the correction. Everybody just keeps going. Well, can it just go away?
Yeah, that's what they want.
Can we just not handle our problem and not handle like adults?
And a lot of
nobody wants to take responsibility and go, you know what? The buck stops here. I am the boss. Let's take care of this. Let's get it done once and for all. Let's get an investigation going, because they thought that if they put enough pressure on Ray and that they made Ray feel like he may not work for them again and may get the position of Cyborg taken away in possible future films, Ray will back down. And
they even said that in the summer. Remember the summertime? They threatened Cyborg in the Flash movie then.
Yes.
And they released this statement today. So it's been roughly 6 months since they threatened the Cyborg role. They were like, actually they tried to entice him. They're like, hey, we got a Cyborg role in this Flash movie if you want it, if you shut your mouth. And then 6 months later, well, because you didn't shut your mouth, you're not going to be in the Flash movie. So ha ha.
Then one eternity later,
yeah,
we're still here. And Paul, here's why it's here's
you
why
gotta say the voice. One eternity later.
But here's why it's WB's fault, because WB's not doing anything to stop it.
Right.
That's why, is because they're not hiring people who are going to put their foot down and say, the buck stops here. They didn't hire somebody to be in this position when Jeff Johns was taken out of the position of president of DC Films. They didn't put somebody, they put Walter Hamada in. They didn't put somebody in that was going to say, okay, you know what, here's our game plan. I'm going to take care of this. Ray, you've got some allegations. You've got some things that you're bringing to light. I am going to take those up the chain. We're going to see what we can find out. If there's something there, we'll take care of it. If there's nothing there, though, Ray, we won't. They didn't even give it that much to even put it up there to let the rightful process even happen.
Yeah. So basically, you have two people in the same position, because Jeff Johns and Walter Hamada were both in the same position. They were both co-presidents of DC Films. And they both did the same thing, or tried to, or attempt to do the same thing to Ray Fisher. When Ray went to Jeff about what was going on with Joss, Jeff threatened him. When Jeff went to Hamada about Johns, Walter threatened him. He got threatened by two different people in the same position. So it's business as usual for DC Films.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yep. It's the cancer at the heart of the matter, you know.
No. See, and this is the problem, guys. This is one of the problems, is that people they don't read everything. They don't listen to everything. They're
headline readers.
You literally are reading the headlines, and so you think you know what's going on, because no offense to you off stage, but you're saying it had a third party investigation and nothing happened. Ha ha ha. Like, you're gonna laugh about that,
which is false.
That's not, that's false. He said he was fired, but a week ago he said he was leaving. This guy is crazy. Yeah. Did you not read that he literally just said, I just found out? A couple weeks ago, he said, I will not be a part of any production. He didn't say The Flash specifically. He didn't say any of that specifically. He said, I will not be a part of a production that Walter Hamada is a part of, as long as this happens. And then today he said in the statement, I was just informed that I will not be a part of the Flash.
Right.
And to answer this real quick, off stage, you say that nothing happened. What do you think Joss Whedon stepping down from HBO Max series was? What do you think that was? That wasn't him simply stepping down.
That was a PR spin.
PR spin on obviously a firing situation. They did not want to deal with him. They did not want to work with him.
And they haven't done it. They haven't completed with Jeff, but he will do the same thing and try to save face because that's what they do.
He'll get demoted to some other position.
He's being removed. It's a spider web with Jeff Johns, whereas Joss Whedon, it wasn't really much. But Jeff Johns has got his hands on a lot of different properties and a lot of different intellectual property with in regards to DC, and he's being taken off of the Frosty the Snowman movie.
Man of Martin actually has a great point here. Man of Martin has a good point here. Says, didn't Warner Brothers try to do a fake investigation and get ahead of the Warner Media investigation? They did, because you remember when Ray Fisher put out this email that he sent to his team regarding this like Zoom call. He had with an investigator. They had some other witness that Ray was not aware of, and they kept on trying to keep him on the line, trying to ask him about his witnesses. They tried to get all this information from him when he wasn't even hired from Warner Media, but he was hired by Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers, like you just said, Man of Martin, they try to get ahead of it. They try to get ahead of this investigation. They try to cover up whatever the investigation would possibly turn up. That's why they try to keep him on the call. Like, what more information can you give us so we can get ahead of this and not lose out?
Well, yeah, they wanted to get ahead of it, but they also wanted to build a great defense. So they were like, dude, are you going to give up, everything to us? Are you going to get, in Discovery, are you going to give me all the information that I can to make a solid defense against your case? Because that's all it's going to do. So Ray throughout this whole thing has been playing his cards absolutely correct. And I applaud him, and I stand with Ray Fisher, regardless if he does another DC film or not. At the end of the day, I really don't care. Just like Enosh. I mean, I'm getting kind of jaded on the DC films, as a whole anyway. I'm just like,
if he has to deal with Warner Brothers,
they keep striking out.
Right. Yeah. If he has to deal with Warner Brothers, I don't want him to have to be a part of that, because Warner Brothers is a terrible situation.
Yeah. Well, let me put this here. If y'all watch Dr. Pimple Popper, okay? Here's the thing. Sometimes she gets in there, she cuts somebody open, and there's a lipoma. You know what a lipoma is? It's a big old cluster of fat cells, right? And sometimes that lipoma, when she cuts it out, it comes all out in one piece, okay? And it all comes right out together. That right there is Joss Whedon. Okay? And sometimes there's a bunch of fibrous tissue that is grown up in and around the lipoma and the fatty cells, and it's involved in everything, and it's clinging on to every little bit of stuff, and it's clinging on to the muscle, and it's all in there. And you have to go in and root it out and cut it up, and maybe cut out pieces and take out this piece and throw it to the side, and maybe another piece, because it doesn't all come out in one piece because it's so integrated and it's all caught up in there. That is Jeff Johns, boys and girls.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
Too much connective tissue that they can't just go, let's just take them all out in one piece.
And another great comment here from Blue Arrow, who says, it's so clear to me now why Ben Affleck left the Batman. It was Warner Brother all along. And
I was going to bring that one too. It was a good comment.
Yeah, combination of the studio kind of shoving him out, because like Joe Manganiello said in one of his later interviews, he said that by the time Justice League was finished filming or reshooting, they had already decided to not do the Batman film. They decided that early on, but they kept on leading us on for years and making Ben Affleck say, like, oh yeah, we're trying to figure it out. Right. He was dealing with it and is like, you know what, I'm done. Like, he couldn't deal with it anymore.
Kept giving Ben Affleck notes to make changes to his script, changes to his screenplay. And he lost, and Ben Affleck just, after a while was like, he lost his fervor. That's why a close friend of Ben Affleck said, man, if you do this project, if you continue on with this Batman film, you're going to drink yourself to death.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks, I did not see your super chat, man. I am so sorry if I didn't see your this stuff has been going by so fast. There's a lot of people in here, so I apologize if I did not see your super chat. Please, you know what? I will I would have definitely brought it up, but if you want to just leave your comment, man. I will definitely definitely read it. I'm going to go back through my because I definitely want to give you props. If I missed anybody's super chat, please know. Okay, so Tom Hanks Ballsack 69 he gave a $4 super chat and said send the link Enosh. So here's the thing. I don't know where you want me to send it to. I'd be more happy to have you in here, but the thing is right now I got this panel in here. We're having a discussion, and I do like. I had actually. It's funny because Tom Hanks Ballsack 69 he actually makes a lot of really great points, and and did when he was in here. But I don't know if I haven't seen you on Twitter, so I'm not really sure. I don't want to put it in just the StreamYard thing because I don't want to just have everybody in here at this point. But because we're just this is my fear, guys, right here. Is more that this is why I said, like, as I'm hearing people say boycott, I get it. That's a quick reaction to people say, well, I'll just boycott it, right? And I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, what's the point now of even making it if you're just going to piss everybody off?
Right. Yeah. You're only going to lose money on it.
Because even if you don't boycott it, if you go in losing your hype for it, are you going to enjoy it?
Yeah.
Well, it's like you've already alienated half the people. And the movie's just in the writing phase.
Well, yeah, no, I mean it's in pre-production. They've already made the new suit for the Flash. They've already had costume fittings that because they're getting ready. They're about to start filming in 3.5 months. So they're still in pre-production. They haven't gone into production yet. They will. But the thing is that I'm sure that even Ray is like it's not Michael Keaton's fault. It's not Ezra Miller's fault. It's not Ben fault. It's only Walter Hamada's fault, and Walter Hamada should be the sole recipient of any, bad, dealings with the Flash movie. He should be financially removed from the project. Even if you don't have Ray Fisher in the project, even if Cyborg doesn't make it in the film, Walter should be untethered from that and reprimanded, whether, he's put on a probation, whether he's put on, if he's fired, demoted, whatever it is, whatever action, Warner Brothers or DC or AT&T, who owns everyone, needs to take, they definitely need to step up and take and say, hey, you know what? We're taking the situation serious. Because right now, all I'm seeing is more cover up. Nobody's going to handle anything. And that falls on AT&T. Because AT&T is the parent company. They own everything else. So it's on them to actually get their crap together and do something.
Yeah.
And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I just tell you all, look, whether or not you boycott it, that's up to you. Look, will I probably end up seeing it? Yeah, because I'm not one of these people who are just, like, you can call me the Snyder cult leader. You can call me a Snyder cultist. You can call me whatever you want to. Here's the thing. I'm not saying I'm never going to see the thing because that's just not me. Okay. That's just not me. But I am telling you, my enjoyment of it is going to be sorely, sorely diminished. And I'm telling you all, this is a time where we need to use our voice. That if you look, all you guys who don't like Ray Fisher, look, just go over in some corner somewhere and stick it, because you know what? The rest of us are going to have a grown-up talk for a second. Okay. If you even if you don't like Ray Fisher, but you believe in just the truth having a chance to come out, right? If you're just totally against the idea because you just can't fathom that Jeff Johns did anything wrong, then y'all need to go in the corner. Everybody else who's like a legitimate adult here, and you say, you know what? I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've done. I don't care what you've produced, written, whatever. Wrong is wrong and right is right. And if somebody has a complaint, that complaint should be heard. Whether or not they're your friend, or you think it could have happened or didn't think it could have happened, that is...
Yeah, that doesn't sound like Enoch.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm telling you, if you think that that people's voices should be heard, then I'm telling you all, we have to use our voice for good in this case, and we need to let Warner Brothers know that this was not cool. That this, if this is going to diminish, if you look at this in any way and you say, man, this is going to diminish my enjoyment of this film, and I'm a DC fan. If you're like me and you're a DC fan and you're saying the way that this went down isn't right, even if you don't like Ray Fisher and you say the way that this went down is not right, even if you don't believe Ray Fisher, but you go, you know what? People need to be listened to. You need to tweet. You need to get that going. We need justice.
We need to hit up the Muschietis.
Yeah,
because even the sister, which is a producer on the film, said that Ray Fisher or Cyborg will be in the film. That was going to be a thing. So I mean, they need to know.
Ray Fisher confirmed again with this statement saying that his part was going to be more than just simply a cameo.
Yes,
be a prominent, pretty prominent role. Much like Batfleck.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, folks. We have to make our voices known. And we have to tweet. Look, because that's the quickest way, right? Like Andy Muschietti, I could not find a Twitter handle for Andy Muschietti. So I went on to Instagram because I do have an Instagram handle for him, and I tagged him. And I said, look, man, this isn't right.
Yeah.
The way that this went down is not right.
Yeah.
This is your movie. How do you feel knowing that, you know what, there's a huge part now of the DC population that now all of a sudden, I mean, call it a knee-jerk reaction, call it what you will, but they literally don't want anything to do with your movie, and it's not because of you. Thank you, Warner Brothers, for, like I said, shooting yourself in the foot.
Yep.
And the question has to be is, did you do it on purpose? Or, I mean, are you just that stupid that you thought that you were just going to be able to do this and everybody was just going to go, oh, well, gee willikers, I guess we'll just go ahead once again, just like, all the other times. And
yes,
Batman and Robin, it happened, with Batman and Robin, happened with Superman 4, happened with, Superman Returns, Superman Lives, we'll just go back to doing whatever we were before and we'll go see anything because that's how we are.
Where's John Peters at?
We don't deserve. Do you understand something, ladies and gentlemen? DC and more importantly, Warner Brothers Pictures doesn't think that you deserve good movies. That's how I feel about this.
They just can't get over their own selves.
Yeah,
they're their own worst enemies. They're their own worst enemies. They want to make money. They want to get income and revenue from these films. They are their own worst enemies when it comes to this. Like as someone else said earlier in the chat, you pointed it out, Enosh, if they would have just simply stuck with Zack Snyder's vision, it would have been done last year.
Yeah.
His 5-film arc would have been done last year, and they could have moved on from what they're... Instead, they're dealing with the repercussions of all this stuff, and fan backlash of dealing with all this because of the stupid decision to overreact and try to Marvelify their films when they were 10 films behind.
Yeah.
Again, I pointed this out in another stream on Anthony's stream, where the first 3 films of the DCEU made more money than the first 3 films of the MCU.
Yep.
By far. Made a ton more money. And yet they're like, well, we don't have as much money per movie as Marvel does. Like, well, they earned that. Kind of like what Brian's been saying. They earned that. So you earn your way to that spot.
Well, here's the funny thing, though, about that, guys, because we did a comparison. There have been 8 DC movies, okay, in the DCEU, making $8 billion. So even though each individual movie didn't make $1 billion, over the course of those movies, they average that. Now, there's been 22 Marvel movies that have made $20 million. So, you tell me that DC movies are not profitable or that there's nothing there, that people don't care about them, when literally you have the first 8 movies. Like, first of all, those first 8 movies have made way more than Marvel's first 8 movies. Way more than Marvel's first 8 movies. And you're going to tell me they've almost made half with less than half. Well, less than, like basically a third of the movies. That's insane. So the thing is there is money to be made here. There's good to be had here. Don't spit in the face of these characters. Like you just said, Dawson, if they had just let it, they could have rebooted it by now. They could have just moved on by now and just all been done and everything would have been done and whatnot. Like I feel like Walter Hamada is going to have to answer this ad from somebody on Twitch. Want to become famous? Buy followers and viewers, because that's what you're going to have to do if you don't try to fix this and make this right and at least address this. That's my point. Is we got to make enough of a stink about this that at least, if anything else, they have to address this.
Yeah. I mean, it needs to be some sort of organized campaign to have our voices heard that, hey, justice isn't served yet. It's not served.
Yeah.
That and that's the thing. That's all I want, guys, because you know what? I want DC movies to be successful. I don't want the Flash movie to come out and be a bomb because everybody's pissed off about it, and then have that be one more thing, like to have to see one more certified rotten, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to see that?
No.
Is that what we want to see as DC fans, to have to hear people rub it in our face one more time? Yep, there's another DC movie. These DC movies suck. They should just sell them all to Disney.
So am I going to have to use a phrase from our old pal Doomcock? Without respect, we reject. Because I mean, we're starting to get into this kind of territory, because this is very similar to what happened with Star Wars.
I know, and you know how I feel about that, right? That like I don't feel that that's the way to go on this, but I'm concerned that if Warner Brothers literally just doesn't care, and just spits in the face literally of this, and just like doesn't even want to acknowledge it, doesn't want to take it up the chain of command, doesn't want to address it, people are gonna get that pissed off.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think at this point we've established that there's a reason why it's not Warner Brothers anymore. Just straight Warner Brothers. Mm-hmm. Because throughout the years they've made so many missteps that they've had to be bought up or merged, or with Time Warner, or Time. You know what I mean? So it's like ever since AOL, I mean, they've had to merge so many times that it's not Warner Brothers anymore. It hasn't been that way for a very long time. So it's like,
you're right.
And it's like, if you watch the Empire Dreams, where George Lucas talks about how like soda companies were stepping in and taking over studios and making bad decisions. This is the effect.
Yep.
All of them. I mean, 20th Century Fox, where are they? They just got bought by Disney.
Yeah.
Okay. Universal. They merged with what, Comcast now? Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Comcast.
I think so.
Yeah, because Universal's NBC and all that stuff. Yeah. Yep.
So the only one standing alone is the one buying up everybody. It's like WWE back in the day, where Vince McMahon would buy all the local territories and merge them into, bring the talent and everybody into the WWF at the time.
Yep.
So I mean, I don't know, man. That's why it's like it'll be Disney before too long. Just wait for it.
Oh yeah. I mean, everything that has Walter Hamada stink on it is I mean, hell, I like Shazam, but it's got his stink on it. Birds of Prey's got his stink on it. Suicide Squad's got his stink on it. Batman coming out with Pattinson's got his stink on it. So I mean, the guy is definitely, like I said, he's not going to be hurting him financially. He hasn't been hurting financially. Joker had his stink on it, even though he didn't care about it, didn't want to do it.
Yeah,
just got his stink on it.
Well, yeah, I mean, even the Star Wars movies made money. You know what I mean? Like hate them as much as they do. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
Rise of Skywalker made over
franchise rights alone will
yeah
from Ghostbusters. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that we need to kind of set aside the amount of importance that these movies themselves are to us, and kind of put in the forefront, like everybody's been saying the whole time, is like, you've really got to look at it as a business. Business has to come first. You can't just sit there and treat everybody like crap. And because you're a movie house, because you're a production studio, you have carte blanche to do whatever you want with your crew, your cast, whatever. I mean, hell, even the guy that Ray was fighting for that did the dress people's hair, the hairdresser, didn't have credit in the film or whatever. And he's just like, even small things like that, man. It's just like, we've got to address these things first, because if you fix the foundation, everything that you build on is going to be that much greater. If all you're going to be doing is putting Band-Aids on, which is what Warner Brothers, DC, and AT&T are doing in this situation, is putting Band-Aids on, is the Band-Aids eventually are going to lose their elasticity. They're going to lose the gumminess of them. They're going to fall apart. You're going to have open wounds, and you're going and all of the cesspool of leeches and just dirty grime, nasty people are going to, again, take control. You're going to have casting couch situations again. You're going to have people treating, other people like crap again behind the scenes. Nobody's going to hear about it, because if you talk about it, then you're not going to have, you're not going to be in any sequels. You're not going to get any more work in the industry. You're going to get blackballed. You're going to be set aside, like, a whole lot of actors and actresses are. You don't hear from them in X amount of years. That's because they've been blackballed. Yeah.
Well, I think Jimi Hendrix said it best. Castles made of sand fall in the sea eventually. So you build a house on a foundation of sand, and
get washed away.
Yep.
It's not smart construction.
And the wind cries, Mary.
Yeah. And so it's just where I'm at. And I'm just, man, I don't know, guys. I want things to be better. I want people to understand,
how it could be better. Like that's the thing. It's like we were getting a taste of it in March. Like that's why it's like so
like
depressing.
Fans were finally getting what they were wanting. Things were looking up. Things were very, very exciting. And now all of a sudden we feel like we're back at square one. I mean, we still have the Snyder Cut in March.
It's a gut punch, because I mean we're trying to look at this and say, oh wow, look at the horizon. We've got, like I was saying earlier, we've got the Snyderverse, back in flux. We've got, Zack Snyder's Justice League coming out, a new edit of the BVS, possibly a new edit of the Ayer cut, and then of course the Flash movie, which was going to tie in Snyderverse characters with Burtonverse characters, and it was just such a ray of hope and everything, and it was just like, oh, but you know what? It's cul-de-sac that goes nowhere.
Yeah,
man, I'm sorry. Hamada is a feisty little bitch.
Well, to be fair with that cul-de-sac comment, that's actually not a Hamada quote. That's just simply a spin on what Hamada was saying from the writer. But your point still stands.
Yeah, but I mean, who points in a direction like that to just say, well, it's not going anywhere? You know what I mean? Like,
right?
Like, I mean, it's
childish. I mean, if I'm going to represent my company, I'm not going to say, hey, let's say I'm in charge of candy bars, and I've got 4 different, things coming out. I really like 3 of them, but one of them just has almonds, and I'm not cool with the almonds. But I mean, at the end of the day, do I care that it has almonds, or do I want to sell the damn, bar and make my quota for the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter of the year, and say, you know what, I was successful. I didn't particularly like the almond bar, but damn it, that thing outsold the other 3 that I do like.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. You've got to put your childish self aside. You got to put your ego aside. You got to put yourself aside and put the product forward, because that's your damn job.
Yep.
See, that's where you can respect Kathleen Kennedy.
She's going to be out of a job this year.
She already has 39 times, man. She already has, according to Mike Zero, 39 times.
When is she supposed to be re-upped? Because it's this year.
Yeah. Yeah, but now even like the likes of Doomcock are saying she's not going anywhere. She's the bestest ever.
Really? Yeah, I knew she wasn't going anywhere. Just it's on her if she wants to re-up. But yeah, no, I mean the same thing with Hamada. You know, he went to a trade and say, hey, promote my my new contract. Nobody else did. Nobody cared. But you know, he felt like in this situation, he needed to let everybody know that he's still in control for 2 more years. So we're under Hamada's thumb unless something changes.
And there was much rejoicing.
Yeah,
There was much rejoicing. Yeah. I don't know any channel that was like Walter Hamada, and they had like the champagne, you know. 2 more years, 2 more years, 2 more years. Yeah.
Like they just want a house seat.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
This is a good point by Cristiano here, though. It says the Flash movie is going to end up being the most divisive DC movie yet, which is why Batman and Suicide Squad need to bring it, because the Flash movie ain't going to help DC brand at all. And that's unfortunate because it's got literally the ingredients for what should be one of the greatest movies and may end up being a great movie.
Yep. It may end up being fantastic, but it still has that stink. It has that stink on it.
Mm.
They could have handled it in a way better way. But you know what? It's like they're children that don't know how to act like adults. They just don't know what they're doing.
They don't know how to learn from history, man. Like,
Man.
Yeah. You know, if you don't pay attention to history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. You know, I mean, look, I'm so tired of having to answer idiots for being a fan of DC properties.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
just
Warner
am.
Brothers keeps giving them ammunition.
They're like,
The studio that makes the DC movies gives haters the ammunition they need to hate on their own properties.
Yeah,
That's what's so sad
they're
here.
like, how do we get on the Disney bandwagon? We can hate on ourselves. Like, oh, that's a great idea.
Well, they're just like,
People love
hey,
that.
you're attacking me. Here's some bullets and a gun.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Right?
You guys do such a great job at attacking us. I want to be on your side.
self-sabotage is the name of the game.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
here's WB executives. All right, guys. How can we totally ruin all of our film franchises and then blame other people for it?
Yes.
It's like, what works? All right, tell that guy to get out of here.
You made me this way.
Jenkins, get over here.
Exactly. I just
Man.
I long for a day when I can go and watch a DC film the way that I felt honestly when I watched Man of Steel. Before all this controversy from people and people being pissy and moany about everything DC, I went into Man of Steel. I watched it. I wasn't worried about people hating on a DC film just because it was DC. I honestly walked out of that film before I was hit with the barrage the next day because I got to see it a day early. Because we went to go to this early showing of it on a Wednesday instead of the Thursday, and so I didn't have to see all of that, backlash for a full 2 days almost, and I was just able to go and enjoy the movie, love the movie for what it was, be excited about the movie, sitting there thinking the whole time, man, this is the one that people are just going to get behind. You know what? All those things that people have been complaining about for so long about Superman and everything, man, this is exactly what they wanted. They wanted action. This movie's got action. They wanted Superman to be challenged by real life scenarios. Man, that's what this had. This is going to be it. And then 2 days later, I had to listen to people gripe and complain because John Williams' theme wasn't in it. Or that like what
do they expect from a reboot?
I don't know, dude.
John Williams' theme.
The reason why they were conditioned for it was because of Superman Returns.
Yeah.
You know, Superman Returns brought the John Williams theme back. They tried
brought
to
Marlon Brando back. It was like
they brought Marlon Brando back. That's why, you know, and they had to do the Donner cut because they had to give Marlon Brando's estate money to use his old footage, to use his likeness and manipulate it for, you know, for the movie. But yeah, you know, I mean, that's why they did. So we were conditioned to go in there with a presupposition that you were going to hear, you know, a similar tone, if not the same exact of, you know, John Williams, you know, score. I mean, it's a great score. I love the score. You know, it's iconic.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But I like just being able to move on. You know what I mean? And like, I love Christopher Reeve. I will always love Christopher Reeve. But man, I walked out of Man of Steel thinking, hey, this is a great thing. It's a Superman for a next generation. And then unfortunately, all that backlash about Man of Steel, by the time that Batman v Superman came out, honestly, I was sitting there thinking, like, I was having to go in concerned, one, because it was Ben Affleck and everybody was losing their freaking mind over Ben Affleck.
Oh, I remember that.
And then walking out thinking, I love this. But
yeah,
man, this is going to be divisive for a lot of people because I already had one friend who wouldn't even go watch the freaking movie because Batman killed in it. He heard Batman killed in it, so he wouldn't go watch it. So it had already started before I even got a chance.
I'm assuming he didn't watch Michael Keaton's Batman then.
Oh,
I'm assuming he didn't do that.
So Dawson, yeah, that's Keith's favorite Batman movie.
So he literally drives into a chemical plant, drops a bomb, kills like 30 Joker goons.
Yeah, but you don't see them die.
But like, what difference does it make? He blew up 30 people. Like, he literally drops the bomb right in front of a guy's feet. And then you see from the outside, boom, the entire place goes
But they had enough time to run.
These guys are my best friends, through thick and thin. We've always been together. We're four of a kind, having fun all day, just palling around and laughing away. Just best friends. Best friends are we. World's finest.
Man, it's like being a Star Trek fan. I'm telling you.
It's like I watch Batman 1989, and I love Batman 1989. It's a great movie, great introduction for like big screen Batman. Absolutely fantastic. But then the fact that people who love that film don't see the hypocrisy,
I know,
of it, and I had to point it out. I'm just like literally, there was someone I was talking to on Twitter the other day. They're just like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not down with murder Batman. I was like, so I'm certain you're not down with Michael Keaton either. They're like, what do you mean? And I explained it to him. Killed a bunch of people in the factory. Shot at people, Joker's goons in the streets. Killed a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
Even threw a guy down a bell tower of a church, obviously killing him.
No.
There were pillows. You didn't see the pillows? They were there.
There were tons of pillows down there. Batman missed the Joker when he was shooting him from the Batwing on purpose.
Val Kilmer tossing a handful of change when Two-Face is trying to catch his coin.
He falls to his death, right?
He was trying to give him some money for rent.
Maybe Christian Bale's Batman killed.
Bale killing Liam Neeson.
He snapped a neck.
Christian Bale's Batman refused to kill a guy because he had to execute him, but then blew up an entire building full of ninjas instead to save one prisoner. Like, the hypocrisy of a lot of these fans knows no bounds. Honestly,
Val Kilmer's Batman was not trying to kill Two-Face. He was trying to give him some money for lunch.
There was a moral lesson there.
Actually, those coins are very, very expensive collector's items. So yes, he was trying to give him, you know, something. I do want
to read. Yes, he was trying to help him. That's what he was trying to do. I do want to read Sophie's. It says corporate greed is a plague, especially in the entertainment industry. Anybody who sides with WB is truly a shell of a human being. Put it out there, Sophie. Good on you, girl.
Yeah.
Also,
people who trust big corporations in general just need to research, man.
Sure. I mean, you can watch so many documentaries that kind of expose big corporations that people just like, you know, that you know, I mean, they just have so much unbridled trust for people that they think every corporation has their best interest at hand.
But
and the best
money creates greed. Money creates greed. That's
and it's like double bad because
greed leads to anger. Anger leads to hate.
Well, Hollywood's been that kind of a machine, though, like since its inception. You know what I mean? always had double dealings, always had mysterious people disappearing and stuff like that. I mean, hell, even the original Superman, you know, there was a long time where people thought that character was a curse.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about what's his face from Smallville?
Oh yeah, but
he never wanted to be shown in the suit until the very last
it makes
episode.
sense, though. Think about it. Like
he was like, I'm never coming out like that. That's why when he came back, even in the CW, he said, you know, when he did the crisis thing or whatever.
Well, I think he's talking about more the Superman curse that everybody is alluded
like
to.
George Reeve died.
And Christopher Reeve
got thrown off a horse and then died later.
I do want to read this comment here from DC Legendary. It says, I'm a new subscriber. Thank you.
Hey.
I'm so glad to have you here. It says, I am just tired of WB crap.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for the Snyderverse. I think I'm done with DC films. And see, here's the thing.
It's gonna feel like a funeral.
This is what bothers me, guys. This is why this is why I'm not saying to necessarily boycott the film, but like my heart goes out because I understand this feeling now. Like I am a lifelong DC fan, and I literally got somebody on Twitter telling me, "Well, you're not a DC fan, you're a Snyder cultist, and you don't care about DC, you care about Snyder." I just care about good films, and I care about people not mocking the DC films that I love. And here's the thing, like we just said, this Flash movie, if nothing gets said, if this just goes through the way it is, and Hamada just gets this movie made, and it just goes through the way it is, it's going to be behind the 8 ball. And you know what? Then it's going to be used against Andy Muschietti, right? It's going to be a black mark on his career. Unfortunately, it's going to be a black mark on the DC career.
Yeah, and the same thing with Ben Affleck. He's going to come back for that movie. And you know, and this was not supposed to be the end of Ben Affleck. He wasn't supposed to come back and just do like a farewell and do a curtsy in his bat cape and cowl. You know, he was, you know, supposed to come back and do some more, you know, and work out some more with hopefully with Zach. It all depends on, you know, the reception of the film that's going to be released in March. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be bittersweet. It's going to be like, why am I coming back? You know, what's going on? What is this? I mean, I don't know. I feel, you know, and this is where the fans, where you don't want to find yourself, because this is where I am with Star Wars, is that you find yourself jaded.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that you're, you know, you have that fervor. It's not that you've got all this, you know, this anger inside you and like, I hate it and whatever, you know, it's just like, I could care less. You know, I don't. If they make another movie, they make another movie. If they don't, they don't. Maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I won't. I really don't care. Don't
you know we're just a toxic Snyder cult.
I know, we're so toxic, man.
We're in here talking about toxic stuff.
Yeah, toxic.
Just so you know, I do want to I do want to say something because we just welcomed a new subscriber. I want to say a special thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel and being here for us. And I really appreciate that. You're welcome. Yeah, a couple of you. And then also shout out to our newest Patreon partner is Andrew Casali. Thank you so much. And Andrew, we got your back here, man. No matter what happens anywhere else you go, and no matter what they try to do to you, we got your back here at the Poindexter Lounge, and you always have a place here. Then also special shout out to our members. Our members are growing.
Damn.
Yeah, man. It's like I had to change this. I had to change this thing 3 times this week. So a shout out to our 2 latest members from just the other day. Rel McMillan, thank you so much, and Bunyan Snipe. Thank you guys so much for your support. I'm so thankful for you guys and you guys becoming members. So with memberships, we got some cool stuff. We're going to be having a live stream just for members and Patreon partners here coming up, and some special giveaways for just you guys. And so I'm really thankful for you guys and glad. Also, we've got new merch, and look at that. How pretty is that?
That is cool.
Poindexter Lounge. Heck yeah, baby. Heck yeah, I love this, and thank you, Snyderverse, for helping me out with a couple of things on this, for the outline on this. Appreciate that.
That's nice.
Got to put this together, and so we got all kinds of fun stuff. And guess what? We're gonna have hats like this guy down in the lower left-hand corner, like nerdy in many ways. We're going to have a hat with this on it, baby.
Ooh,
right.
nice. That'll look nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
make sure to get it in
that.
black because apparently no other color works.
Yeah, well, you know, that's the thing. So we're going to do that. But hey, so, you know, this has been Sophie says, if supporting what's right makes this a cult, then pass me the effing Kool-Aid. Heck yeah.
Just make sure you hand it to me before you pass out. That's all I ask.
That's all I ask.
Heck yeah. So that's that. Hey, Goldman's here. Wasn't planning on seeing Aquaman 2 because of Amber Heard. Not sure I'll see this now.
Fair enough.
You know, man.
I mean, I'll watch it on streaming, you know.
And this is what concerns me too, because I like Andy Muschietti. And now I feel like, not because of anything he's done or anything bad that he's done, he's literally gotten Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck. It's still connected to the Snyderverse. All of us were going to be happy about this film. And then Warner Brothers has got to circumvent all of that and do something like make sure that we all know that, yeah. You know, Ray Fisher's not going to be part of it.
We don't like fans. That's what
it's
they're
like
saying.
Selling the dog van for a mini-bike.
They're literally saying that, like, we don't care what you fans want. We're more interested in protecting ourselves.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's at the end of the day, they're doing for them, and they're hoping that the fans will just kind of assimilate.
Yeah, and go with
it. Yeah, just go with it. Yeah,
and
that's what they want.
Yeah. It's just crazy. But yeah, the Richard says, if we all take a sip of that Kool-Aid, does that give us superpowers?
Yes, we can see through the BS.
There's only one way to find out.
Yes, we can. We can see through the BS. Well, so this has been a very serious, very heated discussion at times. I feel like I need to now go drink some hot tea so that I can go continue. By the way, guys, if you're a Patreon supporter or a members, I'm going to reveal some stuff to you about the new song Associate Producer. That'll be coming out. You guys can be looking for that here in the next few weeks. It's a brand new song that I'm putting together with a music video called Associate Producer, dealing with the Snyder Cut, dealing with stuff like that. And I can't wait. I played a little bit for Cylon, and he was like, man, he's like, that's good. He's like, he really dug it. So I'm really happy about that. So we'll be talking about that a little bit. But I thought that, you know, what we might do is end this stream on a positive note, on a little bit of an upbeat kind of thing, because I got a little heated this time.
Your face is the same color as your hoodie.
It was. that was in.
He was entering the Speed Force somehow.
I was. And speaking of which, I figured that, you know, we'll end this as I ended my stream with Dawson the other day by playing a good old fashioned game of DC Mad Libs. All right.
Go.
Yes, and I think this one is very fitting because it's about the Flash. How do you like that? All right. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go around, and I need you all to help me, and all of you in the chat. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna see what we come up with, because it can't be ridiculous or any more far-fetched than what WB is trying to shove down our throats right now. All right. So does everybody know how to play Mad Libs? Ryan?
Yes.
Have you ever played Mad Libs?
It's filling in the blanks, right?
Yes, basically, I will ask you for either an adjective, a noun, a person, or an adverb. You know what an adverb is? You remember what an adverb is?
Adverse verb.
No, I mean, look, I'll because we sometimes, you know, when we haven't been in school for a while,
where you do a verb, like
an adjective describes something or somebody. We all know what a noun is, right? Person, place, or thing. So an adjective, you know, could be lumpy or soft or ugly or messy. It describes that thing. An adverb tells how something is done, like it modifies a verb and usually ends in ly, like modestly, stupidly, greedily. You know, kind of like Warner Brothers. A noun is, you know, is what it is. A verb, we all know what that is. When I ask for a place, it can be any kind of place, country or city, or even a room like the bathroom or kitchen. An exclamation or a silly word can be like ouch, wow, womp, ick, gadzooks, whatever you want it to be. And then, you know, if I ask you for an animal, you just give me any kind of animal. It doesn't matter, real, fake, you know, so it could be unicorn, whatever. There's no crazy rules with that. You know, that kind of stuff. All right.
Aye.
Are we all good?
Yeah.
All right.
No,
we're
sell.
Sell. We're all good on the rules. All right. Here we go. And Thomas Bartholdi is ready already, said sexily.
Ooh, that's a good
one.
That's a good animal.
What?
It's a good animal. Okay. Here we go. So, Brian, master of none. I'm going to go with you first. I need an adjective.
Ooh.
Something that describes a person, place, or thing. Describes a noun.
Dark.
Dark.
He said dar?
Dar.
Oh, I was going to go with dar.
Dark.
All right.
Dark.
Ryan, I need a noun.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
He was excited for that one.
Obelisk.
Like it. All right. Dawson, I need a person in the room. So I'm gonna say either in this panel here or anybody that you may choose in the chat as well, since we're all in the room together.
Tom Hanks Ballsack 69. He.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
You always gotta
All right.
go with that name.
Absolutely. Yeah. Brian, I need another noun.
Let's see here. Table.
Ooh, table.
Ooh.
I wasn't gonna go with that one.
Ryan, I need a verb.
You're way excited for this, aren't you?
Past. Like PASSEED.
Yes, not like the past. Because
No.
that
Would be a noun.
would not be a verb.
Noun.
All right. Dawson, give me another noun.
Let's see.
Don't use table.
No, a cane.
All right. All right, we're gonna go back the other way. Ryan, give us an adjective. I gotta clip this. Masterfully.
Man, Ryan's like a 6-year-old kid right now.
I know, right. Okay, Brian, give me a plural noun.
Oh, plural. That means multiple.
More than one.
Controllers.
Controllers.
Nice.
Dawson, a number.
37.
Ryan, a color.
Mauve.
That's a good one.
I
was
said mauve.
I told
turquoise.
I told Nerdy. I said, I usually like to go with puce.
Puce.
Merlot.
Merlot.
Okay.
All right, I need another adjective, Brian.
Oh shoot.
Describing a person, place, or thing.
I'm looking around here. Hang on. Shit. Pass. No.
All right, Dawson, an adjective.
Let's see. Rough.
Like rough, like the dog. Rough.
Like texture.
Whatever you want, Ryan.
All right, Brian, a noun.
Oh.
Okay.
Minivan.
Light.
Light.
Like a table light. Lamp.
Okay.
Light. Like light
or
beer.
lamp. Or
Lamp. Yeah.
Lamp.
I love lamp.
I love lamp.
Do you really love the
chair.
lamp? Do you really love the lamp, or are you just saying things in the room?
I love lamp.
Okay. Ryan, another adjective.
Oh. Blanketly.
Blanketly.
Huh.
I'm going to use that in a sentence.
I'd like to use the word blanketly.
Okay. How about another adjective, Nerdy?
Intoxicating.
Ooh. Triple syllable.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. Another plural noun, Brian.
Handles.
Like Handel's Messiah?
Yes.
No, like love handles.
Yes.
All right. Oh no. Ryan, a part of the body.
Oh,
It's the worst one that could go to
schlong.
Ryan.
Okay. What was that?
I don't know.
Dawson, a plural noun.
Gosh. Tires.
Yeah, nobody came up with the farty, huh? Okay. I like his pickles. We got gangery.
Ooh.
Ooh, look at that.
Muy interesante.
Sounds wrong, but a stick. Excited. There's a bunch of good ones in here. Huh? Yeah. Okay.
Well,
13.
They're stuck
All
with
right.
us.
All right. And then finally, Brian, a place.
Metropolis.
It works.
Good answer. Good answer.
Stick with the DC. Circle gets a square.
Who gets the square?
Richard picked an interesting place.
Ooh.
Someone's mom's house.
Actually, I'm going to pick the last one. And I'm going to say a place would be Nicotina's mom's house. All right, are you ready? Here we go
so.
with DC Mad Libs to close out today with the Flash in honor of everything that we've had to endure today. Yes, Nicotina's mom house. You know,
No whammies. No whammies.
Everybody else has been there. But I'm bummed. Okay, here we go. This one's called Hot and Cold.
Uh-oh.
As an alarm began to sound, the Flash flew at dark speed to discover his obelisk. Captain Cold running away from Tom Hanks' Ballsack 69. Jewelry store. It's a jewelry store right there. Tom Hanks.
Yeah,
Imagine that. So an alarm began to sound. The Flash flew at dark speed to discover his obelisk. Captain Cold running away from Tom Hanks' Ballsack 69. Jewelry store. But just as the fastest table alive was about to subdue Captain Cold, another alarm started to pass. That's weird. Oh, because you used past tense, literally.
Past.
Yeah, so I had to bring it back. So
Okay.
another alarm started to pass. This time, it was caused by Heatwave, who was robbing a cane across the street. This calls for some masterfully thinking, the Flash said to himself. He thought a moment and then started to run back and forth between the two controllers. So fast, it looked like there were 37 flashes.
Oh, okay.
That's accurate.
Yes. Both villains believed the mauve speedster was coming for them and fired their rough weapons at him.
Oh.
The sand.
Rough weapons are
Sand blaster.
Yes. But when the lamp of Heatwave's heat weapon hit the cold from Captain Cold's blankety weapon, it turned into an intoxicative cloud of handles.
Ow.
Faster than the schlong could see. The Flash disarmed the tires. Just as the police arrived to cart the criminals away to Nicotina's mom's house.
Faster than the schlong could see.
Faster than the schlong could see.
I love that.
Those
Awesome.
rough weapons. Those rough weapons. Oh
Oh
my!
my gosh. That's too good.
I needed that.
It was coarse and rough and irritating.
The Flash
It's everywhere.
The Flash was trying to save the wrong mom here. What did you do, Barry? What did you do? All right.
Don't ask.
Dad, don't ask. Don't ask. Oh my gosh. Well,
You
hey,
can see 37 of me.
37 of them. Well,
All
there
of
you go,
Nicotina's
guys.
mom's house.
They're all of Nicotina's mom's house. Well, there you go, guys. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in today. Like I said, I feel like we all need to let our voice be heard in some way, and social media is usually the best way to do that, right? And so, you know what? Tell people that tweet it out. Let Warner Brothers know, tag Warner Brothers, Warner Media, Warner Brothers Pictures, tag Andy Muschietti. Let them know how you feel about this going down the way that it has gone down. And
AT&T as well.
AT&T, absolutely. And look, will it necessarily bring Ray back? I don't know. I mean, we got the Snyder Cut, so, who knows? But
you listen to the fans.
But you know what? At least let's get a response. Let's make sure, because I'm seeing already on my Twitter, man, just tons of people upset about this and wanting change and wanting this addressed. And I just feel like, what? We got to do something. And so, like I always say, don't let somebody tell you that your fandom doesn't matter, and don't tell somebody else that their fandom doesn't matter. Strive to have a conversation and to find a meeting of the minds, and let's do that. Brian, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
You can find me on my channel, The Master of None. I've been cranking the content up a little bit. Just finished watching Star Trek Discovery Season 3, which I really like how it ended up. So I'll be putting that out tomorrow. So be sure to check it out. And yeah.
Okay, guys. See you at Nicotina's mom's house. Ryan, hey, we haven't seen you in a while, man. Yeah, it's good to see you, man. Heck yeah. I mean,
yeah. I mean, when you do these streams, usually they're really late, and then and Nicotina's godly late. So I'm like, I can never get on his stream.
Well, you know what? Nicotina's mom's late too.
Oh, she'd been late a couple times.
Where can we find you, Ryan?
You can find me on my Zeverfett channel, as well as Twitter, as well as Instagram. And we also have a new review coming out for the Batman Soul of the Dragon animated movie that just released. So we're editing that possibly tonight, but it'll be out this week. So definitely check that out, and check us out on the Four Nerds this week. On Thursday, tomorrow, right at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we're gonna have Dave the Film Junkie on, and that should be a very fun broadcast. It'll be on the ACS Universe. It'll be on his channel. So make sure that you go subscribe to all of us, but make sure you subscribe and put on the notifications so that you're reminded for that show.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And Dawson, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at NIMW32, as well as on Vero at Dawson Weidrich. You can also check me out on my YouTube channel, Nerdy in Many Ways. I just posted today a video, or it's a what if video. It's the second what if video in this series that I have on my channel, where I go through different what if scenarios in DC films. Like, for example, today's video, which is voted on by you guys, the viewers, was what if Dick Grayson was the Joker of the DCEU. We did a whole story on that. It was very, very fun to do. So we should go check that out. And as always, thanks for having me here, Janosch.
Absolutely. Well, hey, thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to my panel tonight. Thanks for listening to my rants. Thanks to all of my moderators. Thank you guys for keeping things, where they need to be for this. Civil. You guys know you guys can find me. All of my links are down in the description below. You can find me on social media all over the place. And of course, we'll always be here. We will be back tomorrow night for another 2 cents on nonsense with my good friend Johnny Pop. It's our weekly show that we do. And one of our good buddies, Mr. Doomcock, there is at it again, saying that Luke Skywalker being on The Mandalorian is the first key to the sequel trilogy being taken down. We'll tear that apart, but we're also going to talk about our good friend Mike Zero here, because we put out a challenge to Mike Zero. We've been putting out these challenges to Mike Zero. We asked Mike Zero, to grab his ear or touch his ear or something, and so we were live on Nicotina's where he reached up and did one of these numbers, grabbed his ear, and so this last week, Johnny and I started season 2 of 2 Cents on Nonsense, and we came back and we asked for Mike Zero to do a karate chop if he watches the show. And we also we gave him a couple choices. We said you could do a karate chop, you could do like all kinds of craziness, and stuff, or you could do you could rub your face, you could we told him he could scratch your, didn't we? Brian, you were there. We told him he could scratch his nose or like rub his mouth, and we wanted him to do a karate chop. And I can't remember what the other one was. There was like one other one that we asked him to do. All I'm going to say is, we want to leave it up to you guys to tell us what you think of what we uncovered this week in Mike Zero videos. A couple different videos. I'm just going to say, I'm not one to say like this person's watching us, this person's doing it, but we asked specifically for a karate chop. Did we not, Brian?
Yes, we did.
And we asked specifically for like a wipe of the mouth or something. I'm just telling you, we're going to show some evidence, and then we're going to watch a Doomcock video and see if good old Luke Skywalker is really here to not just rescue Grogu and teach him in the ways of the Force, but to take down Kathleen Kennedy and all of the sequel trilogy and its lovers. So you're going to want to tune into that tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a fun time for sure. Thank you guys for joining us. You guys are always fabulous, and you know what? It's always fun to have you guys here. And I appreciate you all. I appreciate your support. And you know what? Here's the thing. You don't all have to like the same thing I like. You know what? You don't all have to agree with me. That's not a prerequisite for being a part of the Poindexter Lounge. You just have to respect each other. And when I see something, I hope that you understand when I get all excited about stuff like this and I get bent out of shape, that, you know what? I would stand for you and I would fight for you the same way if you were being done wrong. Because I believe that right's right and wrong is wrong. So there you have it, folks. Until next time, my name is Enosh, a.k.a. Enosh Fett, saying, you know what? Take care of each other. Be good to each other. And check out this sweatshirt.
Do it!
Do it! You are part of the Poindexter.
Make your dreams come true. Just
stay toasty.
You're part of the Poindexter League, ladies and gentlemen. And so I am very, very happy to have you all here. And I will leave you tonight with I think, fitting words about how we need to come together in unity in some way or shape or form, I guess. Here is Darkseid himself. We'll see you guys next time.
You're watching Poindexter Lounge for the unity.